Hello again everyone, welcome back. Today I want to take a look at 1 Samuel chapter 3, where we see the 4 callings of Samuel. In part 2 of this series, I examined the meaning of the 3 denials of Christ by Simon Peter, being a representation of the Israelites, and concluding that the 2 separate cock crowings referred to in the book of Mark represented the beginning of a new day, or a new block of 1,000 years each, as shown in orange here in the diagram. Today I want to expand on that by considering the 4 callings of Samuel. Samuel now being used as a representation of the Israelites.
And the child Samuel ministered unto the Lord before Eli. And the word of the Lord was precious in those days. There was no open vision. And it came to pass at that time, when Eli was laid down in his place, and his eyes began to wax dim, that he could not see, and ere the lamp of God went out in the temple of the Lord, where the ark of God was, and Samuel was laid down to sleep, that the Lord called Samuel, and he answered, Here am I. And he ran unto Eli, and said, Here am I, for thou calledst me. And he said, I called not, lie down again. And he went and lay down.
So the story begins when the word of the Lord was precious, meaning before the Israelites had gone away backward, Isaiah chapter 1 verse 4, and fallen as did Judas in John chapter 18 verse 6, prior to the crucifixion. As noted in previous videos, the crucifixion marks the first denial of Christ by the Israelites. And it was at this crucifixion that darkness swept over the land for 3 hours. Please bear in mind here that nobody knows the day or the hour when heaven and earth shall pass away. So Eli's eyes began to wax dim, that he could not see. Eli, a representation of those Israelites who will deny Christ even unto the end. And the lamp went out in the temple, just as the darkness at the crucifixion, and Samuel was laid down to sleep, before being called the first time. However, after this first calling, Samuel lay down again.
And the Lord called yet again, Samuel. And Samuel arose and went to Eli, and said, Here am I, for thou didst call me. And he answered, I called not, my son, lie down again. Now Samuel did not yet know the Lord, neither was the word of the Lord yet revealed unto him.
So Samuel, representing the Israelites that will ultimately be saved during the second half of the tribulation, lies down again. This despite being called a second time, meaning the rapture, because Samuel did not yet know the Lord.
And the Lord called Samuel again the third time, and he arose, and went to Eli, and said, Here am I, for thou didst call me. And Eli perceived that the Lord had called the child. Therefore Eli said unto Samuel, Go, lie down, and it shall be, if he call thee, that thou shalt say, Speak, Lord, for thy servant heareth. So Samuel went, and lay down in his place.
So the Lord called Samuel again, for the third time, meaning at the second cock crowing, or the time of the second escape. But the child lays down yet one more time.
And the Lord came, and stood, and called, as at other times, Samuel, Samuel. Then Samuel answered, Speak, for thy servant heareth. And the Lord said to Samuel, Behold, I will do a thing in Israel, at which both the ears of every one that heareth it shall tingle. In that day I will perform against Eli all things which I have spoken concerning his house, when I begin, I will also make an end. For I have told him that I will judge his house for ever for the iniquity which he knoweth, because his sons made themselves vile, and he restrained them not. And therefore I have sworn unto the house of Eli, that the iniquity of Eli's house shall not be purged with sacrifice nor offering for ever.
So at the fourth calling, during the second half of the tribulation, Samuel finally hears the Lord's calling. The ears of those who now hear shall tingle. However, for those Israelites who will deny Christ unto the end, represented by Eli and his family, a day will come when all things will be performed, a beginning and an end, meaning the 1,000-year day of the Lord. I believe that the beginning of the day of the Lord will be marked by a second sword to befall Jerusalem, much like in 70 AD. And of course, the iniquity of this house will not be purged with sacrifice, as they will continue to deny Messiah laying down his own life to pay for the sins of the world.
And Samuel lay until the morning, and opened the doors of the house of the Lord. And Samuel feared to show Eli the vision. Then Eli called Samuel, and said, Samuel, my son. And he answered, Here am I. And he said, What is the thing that the Lord hath said unto thee? I pray thee, hide it not from me. God do so to thee, and more also, if thou hide anything from me of all the things that he said unto thee. And Samuel told him every whit, and hid nothing from him. And he said, It is the Lord. Let him do what seemeth him good. And Samuel grew, and the Lord was with him, and did let none of his words fall to the ground. And all Israel from Dan even to Beersheba knew that Samuel was established to be a prophet of the Lord. And the Lord appeared again in Shiloh. For the Lord revealed himself to Samuel in Shiloh by the word of the Lord.
So Samuel lay until the morning, when the cock crew, the second cock crowing, and the doors of the house of the Lord were opened, meaning entry into New Jerusalem. One more point to note here. Twice in this chapter, Samuel is referred to as being a child, but in verse 19 we see that Samuel grew.
And other sheep I have, which are not of this fold. Them also I must bring, and they shall hear my voice. And there shall be one fold and one shepherd.
As Christians, we are sheep that follow Messiah's voice, Gentiles. However, in John chapter 10, verse 16, we are told that there is another sheepfold, and together with them there shall be only one fold, meaning the Israelites and the Gentiles will be united to follow one shepherd, the Good Shepherd, Messiah.
This is now the third time that Jesus showed himself to his disciples, after that he was risen from the dead. So when they had dined, Jesus saith to Simon Peter, Simon, son of Jonas, lovest thou me more than these? He saith unto him, Yea, Lord, thou knowest that I love thee. He saith unto him, Feed my lambs. He saith to him again the second time, Simon, son of Jonas, lovest thou me? He saith unto him, Yea, Lord, thou knowest that I love thee. He saith unto him, Feed my sheep. He saith unto him the third time, Simon, son of Jonas, lovest thou me? Peter was grieved, because he had said unto him the third time, Lovest thou me? And he said unto him, Lord, thou knowest all things, thou knowest that I love thee. Jesus saith unto him, Feed my sheep.
As we know, it's in the book of Mark that Simon Peter hears the two cock crowings. So, with the first cock crowing representing the first denial of the Israelites leading up to the crucifixion, or the time of the fig tree generation, or the child, Samuel, isn't it then appropriate that Simon Peter firstly is asked to feed my lambs? And with the 2,000 years between the cock crowings representing the time of the Gentiles, prior to the Israelites being healed, isn't it then appropriate that Jesus asked Simon to feed my sheep? And with the time after the second cock crowing representing the raising up of the Israelites after they have fallen, or the time of the grown Samuel, isn't it then appropriate that Jesus asked Simon a second time to feed my sheep?
I love them that love me, and those that seek me early shall find me.
In part 6 of this series, I intend not to focus on the 4,000 years of the fig tree generation, but instead the 2,000 years of the palm tree generation. Thank you for watching.